MPs have passed a landmark law to fight online hate speech. It means social media networks will have to remove offending content within 24 hours. A new button will enable users to flag up any abuse. It's modelled on German legislation which started last year. Sites which fail to comply will be fined up to 4% of their global revenues. Well, for more on this, let's go to Paris, where our correspondent Annelise Borges is ready to speak to us. Annelise, it seems like there's pretty strong support here for these measures amongst MPs.
Absolutely, Alistair. 434 votes for, 33 votes against. It shows that there is indeed a strong backing for this piece of legislation. And a legislation, however, that has seen its fair share of controversy here in France. And for more on that side of the story, I'm now joined by France's MP Caroline Abadie, a member of La République En Marche, the party putting forward this piece of legislation. Mrs. Abadie, thank you for joining us this morning. You voted for this legislation. I would like to know from you about these critics that say that this piece of legislation could actually infringe on freedom of speech because of this, the stiffness of these penalties. We're talking about 4% of fines, of global revenue fines. What do you say to those critics that are worried that this could actually trigger censorship in France?
For us, the free of speech is already in danger. We have people on internet because they are women, because they are gay, because they have disabilities, because they are a color of skin, that are insulted on internet, and those people already self-censored on internet. They won't say everything they want, they won't say everything they do. For us, it's already a problem. That's why we ask the social network to remove those contents that are already forbidden. We are not doing new restriction on the free of speech. There is a law from the 1881, and this law say that you can say those things on a newspaper, you can say those things on the radio, so we don't want that those things are said on internet. That's why we ask the social network to remove this obvious illicit content within 24 hours.
Well, again, critics say that it should not be up to these companies to determine what is obvious illicit content. What it is, of course, clear is that France has a problem with online hate speech. The author of this bill, Madame Avia, who put the bill forward, who drafted the bill, says that she receives so much hateful messages that one day that she did not receive those hateful messages, she thought there was a technical problem on Twitter. But how do you protect your citizens while protecting their right to say whatever they want up to a certain limit, of course?
This is this limit that we put it in this bill. We want that those people are not hidden behind their screen, and we want them to go into the court for what they did. Actually, there is nobody have been sued for this kind of content. So what we want is that the social network remove at least this content, and then the justice will do the rest. And Madame Avia not only fight for her, obviously she fights for all those people that are not as strong as she is to protect themselves. We have people that committed suicide because they have so many insulted on internet that they don't find any rescue that this suicide. So we want to protect those people first, and the free of speech is still the same. I mean, there is a law, and we will just ask the social network to apply the law on their website, and if there is a problem, there will still have a judge behind, of course.
Very shortly, you've also said that you are currently working with social media networks to make sure that this law can actually be applied, because many of these channels, including Facebook, are questioning the feasibility of the 24-hour window, because they say sometimes it takes longer than that to actually evaluate whether or not a message is actually hateful.
We spend some time with the social network, with Facebook in Dublin, and we spent a full day with their moderators teams. And what we saw is that it's absolutely possible. They do that already regarding to their internal règlement intérieur, the CGU, we say in French, and they already do that when it's not responding to their standards. So what we want is they just do the same with the law. They apply their standards. Why couldn't they apply the law? That's the only point we point.
All right. Caroline Abadie from La République En Marche, thank you very much for joining us this morning. So this piece of legislation has now gone through the lower house. It will go to the Senate for a vote, and members of parliament are hoping that this bill can actually become a law by the end of the year.